Good evening and welcome to Netzach Yisrael's daily Kitzur Shulchan Aruch Shir. Tonight we're going to start Siman Memches Dine Brochus Amacholim V'Chamishas Mine Dogon Ovoyud Seifim, the halachas of the brochus that one makes on the foods that are made from the 5 different grains, that is wheat, barley, rye, oats and spelt. It contains 10 seifim, and tonight Bezos Hashem will do the first 4. Seif Aleph. Lechem shehu mechamishas minei dogon, bread that is made from one of these 5 grains. Ela shehu pasabah b'kisnin, but it's not regular bread, but it's bread that's known as literally bread in pockets, or a sweet bread. If one eats from this a measure less than one would normally be koveas odoron, that means less than one would normally eat for a full meal. One would not need to wash one's hands beforehand. And one wouldn't say hamoitzi beforehand as one would on bread, but rather one would say the bracha one would say on other cakes and whatnot, and afterwards one says alamikra instead of benching. And of course in the next Ephim, the Kitzur Shulchan will go on to explain a bit more what this entails, how much is included and what type of bread this is. Of course, if one eats the amount that one should be koveas odoron, as much as a normal meal, as I did in Gamo, then these sweet rolls have the halachic status of regular bread. But one needs to wash one's hand, and say hamoitzi beforehand, and one needs to bench afterwards, just as one would for regular bread. Seif base. Mao pasabah b'kisnin. What's included in this pocket bread? So the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch brings a couple of different shittas, a couple of different views, and there are others too. There are those that say that literally it's a bread that's made like a pocket. Filled, some type of pastry filled with fruit or meat or cheese, etc. And similarly if it's made like a pie. In other words, it's a combination of some type of pastry with meat underneath. And there are others that say that instead of this dough primarily being made with water, it's kneaded instead with oil or with other fruit juice. And that liquid constitutes the majority liquid. Therefore, even if it's mixed with a little water, but that water is the minority ingredient. And we go like both of these views. In other words, whether it's the first view that it's like a pie or some type of filled pastry, or the second one that it's a dough made with juice, we follow both these views lahokel, meaning to the lenient, and both of these will have the halachic status of pasabah b'kisnin, and providing one didn't have too much of it, one would treat it like a biscuit and say mazonos beforehand. The Mishnah Berurah maintains that meat pies, cheese pies, etc., that are eaten on the basis of a meal are not to be considered sweet rolls. And the Mishnah Berurah also quotes a third opinion, which defines this type of food as crackers. So crackers would also be pasabah b'kisnin. Seif Gimel. Shia koveas odah alav b'didei masharinon. In order to estimate how much this amount of koveas odah is, that's not determined as by an individual, but rather by most people. How much they would eat for a regular lunch or dinner in order to be satisfied. So if one eats this amount, even if he personally is not satisfied and one's still hungry, nonetheless the halacha is it's got to be treated like bread, and one has to wash accordingly and make the right brachas as one would for bread. And if one ate this bread together with other things, then again one has to estimate. If they would eat it with these other lifton, for example, dips, they would be satisfied. And if he ate it without lifton, this amount, then he's satisfied. And others, if they would eat this amount, they wouldn't be. But if they were to eat it with lifton, they would be havalei gamkein din lechem. Then again, it would be considered bread. So there are actually a few different opinions among the poskim concerning exactly how much is included by the measure of a normal meal. And the Mishnah Berurah maintains that one shouldn't eat something more than 4 kabetzim, 4 measures of an egg of this pasababakistan of sweet rolls, except in the middle of the meal when one has eaten bread. Otherwise, one would have to treat it accordingly as pasababakistan. Sif Dalad. What if one was eating, as can happen, for example, as a Kaddish, and he only intended on eating a bit? So he made the correct bracha, beforehand, and then he continued eating the amount to be Kaveh Uda. So, in Bezeh, Shehu Reitz Alechal Oid, Ein Boy Shia Kaveh Uda, Elabet Serif Mash Ochel Kaidam. If the amount you want to have, the extra 2 pieces of cake you want, are not enough to be Kaveh Uda, that means they're less than this 4 egg size amount, but they would be considered Shia Kaveh Uda when you include the bit he's eaten already, because he's already had 3 eggs worth. Then he eats it, he doesn't need to wash again, and he benches afterwards. So there's no need to wash one's hands. However, if one intends on, they decide to have another 2-3 slices of pizza that is big enough, then one needs to wash one's hands and say Hamaitzi beforehand for what one intends to eat. But one does not need to say alamichya on what they've eaten already, because that will join together with the bit that he's eaten already and will be excluded by the benching that he's about to say afterwards. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.